Good morning, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with OnlyTheInspired.com doing day 10, holy moly, day 10 of our OnlyTheInspired.com Coach Summit, the value of coaching. And so I'm super glad that you're here. Please put in the chat what your name is and who you're where you're coming from. Sorry. Anyways, so there is a little link at the bottom of this post, and it's a StreamYard link, so that gives you basically gives permission to show who you are and any comments that you make, and that way we can actually see who's commenting on everything. So we launched our membership yesterday, onlytheinspired.com, for a limited time. We're doing $47 a month. Yay, which is honestly just truly a fraction of what it would be for one session with one coach. And so my goal is to have 40 coaches by the time we launch. Right now we're at about 13 coaches. Yay, I'm super excited. Hello from Boston. I'm sure that's Nefertiti. How you doing? So please, put in the chat what your name is, where you're coming from. Invite people to watch these interviews. The interviews are super powerful, and it's people from every background, and it's just going to connect with people. And make sure that you do watch parties. If you're going to watch the interview anyways, do a watch party. And if you're in the group, try and do the watch party outside of the group. Onto your own homepage. And so there's different, like when you do a watch party, it'll say into a group, and then you just change that little tab to where it will say your timeline. So that's the best way to do it. So I am super excited about today. So our first coach, and she's not really a coach, she's a business owner. She's been a friend of mine for, I think we're at about 13 years. And so she is one of the most motivated people that I know. She is completely driven. She owns her own travel agency. She goes through cruise planners. And so she's been on so many cruises, so many places. She's got pictures of her and Captain Steubing from the Love Boat. And she is just a great friend of mine. Her and her husband, Keith, we actually did a dual 40th birthday party together, Keith and I. And so it was 80 candles. So I'm 19 days older than him. So he tells me how old I am all the time. It's funny. Anyway, so I am going to play Carole's interview. So we're going to try something new today. So hopefully Carole will be back. I doubt if she's going to be back for today's interview. She's up at Lake Tahoe right now, marrying a couple. So she is not only a travel agent through Cruise Planner, she's also a wedding officiant, and she is going to marry Todd and I 2 months from today, 10/10/2020. That's like the perfect day. So I'm super excited about that. So I know right now she is up in Tahoe, but later on in the group, all of the coaches are actually in the group. And so you can reach out to her and ask her questions about any of the travel stuff or any of the wedding officiant stuff. And so I'm excited to share that. And then when we come back, if we have any questions, I am going to play a video of how I came up with Only the Inspired after her video. But then I put a StreamYard link in here so you guys can actually join me on this call and ask questions or pop in and say hi. And then after we do that, I'm going to bring on our coach, our second coach today, and that is Sherese Shy-Holmes. And I absolutely love this woman. She is just a ball of energy, and I love her story, and you could tell that she absolutely loves what she's doing. And so I can't wait for that. And then she will join us for that. So I am going to get started. I'm going to play Carole's interview, and then I will come back up and play my how I came up with Only the Inspired, and then we'll actually bring you guys on live, and we could have up to 10 people here on live on StreamYard. So I'm super excited about that. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier, to have multiple people on here where you can actually, be on screen and ask the coaches questions. So I'm super excited about that. So, all right. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to play the first interview. And it's pretty short. It's only like 24 minutes long. But again, she's a great friend of mine, and she really took a toll with this COVID. You have weddings and you have travel, and both of them took a huge nosedive in this last 6 months that we've been in COVID, or 5 months. And so I'm here to support my friend Carole. And so I hope if you guys have any questions, you could put those in the chat, and she's going to watch this later. And then also, like I said, she'll be in the group. So I am going to start that right now, and I will see you guys after the interview. Okay. This is Robin Leslie with OnlyTheInspired.com doing another amazing interview with my friend Carole. She has been a friend of mine for 10, 12 years?
At least.
I think 12 or 13 years. And so I'm super excited to have her on here. And she's a woman of many skills, many passions. And so it's really good to have Miss Carole here. So in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
I am a wedding officiant and a travel agent. So in a nutshell, I can marry you and send you on your honeymoon the very next day.
I didn't look at it that way. Yes, that's awesome. And how long have you been doing that? How did you get started? Because you weren't always in the travel industry,
nope.
Right?
I spent, let's see, I'll back that up a little bit. I have a degree in logistics from the University of Nevada, Reno. And so I spent over 20 years in distribution management. I got tired of the corporate rat race, like so many people, and decided I wanted to own my own business. So I thought, well, what do I want to do? Love to travel. Decided I would own a travel agency. So I bought my travel agency. I ran it for a little while at the same time I was in distribution. So I have owned the travel agency. This is my 17th year. And then, yeah, it's a very good business. I love the business. And then about 5 years ago, a really good friend of mine asked me if I would marry her and her now husband. And I did. And they said, you're really kind of good at this. You should consider doing this for other people. And so I looked into it. And in my state, which is Nevada, it is actually, you have to be licensed by the state to marry people. So I went through and I jumped through all the hoops, and I am now licensed. And I have now married about 400 couples in Northern Nevada, Northern California. So I really can marry you and send you on your honeymoon the next day. So
405 years. You go, girl. Yep. That is awesome. And hopefully I will be on that list this year. Right. is the goal. And yeah, we wanted to plan a little trip to Florida to see my grandma before anything happened. And so we want to take care of that before anything else. But yay, that's awesome. 400 people, Carole. That's great. So describe your ultimate, and obviously we're kind of talking about two businesses, and as a lot of you have felt the pain of the COVID, both of Carole's businesses kind of got shut down overnight. So cruises and travel shut down, and then when you couldn't do big weddings where you had, anywhere more than 5 people at one time, or 10 people. That kind of took a toll. And so just like a lot of you hurting, it's been an adjustment for Carole. So we're kind of talking about two businesses here, and they're a little bit intertwined. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
Well, right now, going forward, we are focusing travel on 2021 and beyond. 2020 is there are travel opportunities, but not a lot. It's going to be opening up later this year, so we're really focusing for 2021 and beyond. And there's great things to do 2021 and beyond. And will travel be different? Sure, but like I tell everybody, things changed after 9/11, and we have all moved forward. And a lot of us we don't even think about those changes anymore. That's the way it is. And there's actually a whole generation of people now that don't remember what it was like to travel before 9/11. And I think that it's just going to we're just going to refocus for going forward, and things are going to change. You're probably not going to see a lot of buffets at all inclusives or on cruise ships anymore, and that's just the way it's going to be. But that's what we're doing. We're just concentrating on 2021 travel. If anybody wants to travel in 2020, of course, let's do it. I'm ready. As far as weddings, we were on a pretty much complete hold there for a couple of months. And then I actually placed a call to the governor's office in the state of Nevada and asked if we could do small elopements with a small group of people. And I did talk directly to them, and they said, yes, you can. And then right after that, things just started to open, and we got approval to do 10 people or less. And then right after that, a couple weeks later, it was 50 people or less, which is where we're at right now. People are getting married. That is one thing about weddings. You may not travel. You may not even have the budget to travel. But if you want to get married, you're going to get married. You're going to find a way to get married. You may not have a big wedding. You may have a smaller wedding, a scaled back wedding. You may not have a destination wedding. But if you want to get married, you're still going to get married. So that's been great. I've been marrying people in smaller ceremonies, backyard ceremonies, beach at Lake Tahoe kind of ceremonies. And I am booking it's been picking up for this year. So I think the important thing to remember is never miss an opportunity to market yourself, because even if you think it's a grim reality out there, maybe it's not. Maybe there is hope. People might have hope to do something positive with their lives.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you've done some really, really cool weddings. So, tell us about your top 2 or 3, where you did it, where that was just totally out of the norm. That was totally fun.
Probably one of my favorites is totally my husband's favorite. We had a couple that wanted to get married they wanted a snowmobile, and it was just my husband and I and the couple and the snowmobile guide. And the snow was so heavy that year that it was, we didn't even actually know we were on roads when we were snowmobiling, because the snow was up as high as the stop signs. And we went out into the valleys, and it was snowing heavily the day we were out. We went out into the middle of, it was pristine snow too. And just found a beautiful valley, went out there. She pulled a tutu on over her snowsuit, and we did the ceremony, just the 4 of us. And it was absolutely incredible. He dipped her and dropped her into the snow. She made a snow angel. Absolutely beautiful. That was a lot of fun. I also do theme weddings. So I've done Star Trek, Doctor Who, Alice in Wonderland. I've got a Victorian themed wedding coming up. I've done a couple of those up in Virginia City, which is a historic town. I love to do anything that's completely out of the box, as well as anything that's completely inside the box. But I always tell people, let's have fun. It's your day. Do whatever you want.
Absolutely. I love that. And you're a big Comic-Con, obviously. Look at that shirt.
Yep.
She is a Comic-Con, aficionado. She goes to just about everyone, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Love
so awesome.
Comic-Con.
So what beliefs that do you have that set you apart from your competition? And I'm a collaboration, not competition,
Sure.
but when it comes to being married or, booking travel, you can't, use multiple people for that one
Of
event.
course. Well, I truly believe that when you're doing business with somebody in a personal setting, and these are both settings where I think the personal touch is important, find somebody that you really connect with. Your travel agent should be somebody that you feel you can call up and they're going to remember what you like and what you like to do on vacation, and they're going to help find that perfect vacation for you. It should be somebody that remembers that you like to go diving, and they're going to set you up on that dive vacation that you want to go on. They're going to know that, hey, you're a vegan, so don't send them to a barbecue resort, or the dude ranch that doesn't have any vegan food. Just the little things like that. Make sure you find somebody who really connects with you. And the same thing goes for somebody that's marrying you. It's obviously important to find the perfect dress, but hey, don't forget the person that's actually doing the legal part of the ceremony. If you don't connect one-on-one with that person, if you just don't have that warm fuzzy about me, I'm probably not the officiant to marry you. We're the person that's up there at the front that's going to be telling your story, that's going to connect with you, that's going to connect with your guests. So if just I'm not that person, don't hire me. But if I am that person and you really enjoy talking to me, then I'm probably going to be the best experience you have that day. It's just all about that personal connection. So why would I be set apart just because I am your person?
Well, and I've known Carole for a long time, and she's very good with getting details done and, finding out what your specifics are. If if these 3 things or 5 things really, really, really matter, she's going to make sure they happen. And, I know there's been lots of times when people have been on travel and issues have came up and she backed them up 100%. It's never going to be piece of cake every travel that you do, but if I know anything about Carole, she'll be there to have your back. One of the most determined people I know. and her husband and her daughter. Yeah,
that's right.
So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
And it would be with my travel business, was developing a customer base. It is a very competitive business. Not so much with a lot of people. I get asked the same question all the time. Why would I book with you and I can just book it online? The answer to that is, well, do you really enjoy sitting on hold for 2 hours when you've got an issue? Or do you know all the answers to all your questions? Hey, well, what if you're going someplace new and you need some tips? Isn't it easier just to ask me? I'm free after all. So a lot of people don't understand travel agents, for the most part, we're free. We don't cost anything. We may actually add something for free. But if somebody is out there and they don't realize the value add of a travel agent, they may not realize they want one. So getting a customer base is a huge thing to do when you're new. And with any business, it is the biggest thing you will probably do is building your customer base. But once you get your customers, then you start building on that. Once you have a customer, they start referring you to their friends, and then their friends refer you to their friends, and then it starts to go from there. It gains speed. But with any business, that's always going to be, I think, your biggest challenge.
Yep. And I ask this question to everybody because some people have it and some people don't. So do you have a support network of friends and family encouraging you to do this? You know, you were in logistics, a totally different business, or is this something that you feel that you have to do and you're going to do it no matter what anybody says?
Yes. Yes, and you actually know my support network, so that's good.
Mhm.
But not only do I have a great husband and a daughter who are always telling me, they're always telling me you can do this, you're a rock star. But I have great friends. I have a friend who has a business in woodworking, and he's always telling everybody that I'm a rock star travel agent, and you need to use my friend. She's a rock star travel agent, and he's always referring me out to everybody. And those are the kind of people that you need to have in your sphere, in your circle. Those are the people you want to know, because people that that you know, your friends, are the people that are going to be your strongest supporters. And you'll be amazed that the people you think might support you, like you know, your cousin Bob and your aunt Tilda, that you thought were going to be your biggest supporters just because you're your family, aren't generally your biggest supporters. They may surprise you. It's
Mhm.
going to be people that you actually know, really know, and spend a lot of time with. Those are your biggest fans and your friends and supporters.
Love that. So what is your favorite thing about your business? And you've probably got lots of those with both of the businesses that you do.
Easiest question you could ask. I have two jobs that, well, generally make people happy. People love to travel and create new experiences, and when people are getting married, they're happy. So those are two businesses that make people happy. I went from working in corporate America, which is a difficult gig, and that's why a lot of people are looking to find their way and create their own businesses in their own way and become entrepreneurs. And it's one of the reasons that I got burned out, is because it can be a rough life being in corporate America. But I have two businesses that are absolutely wonderful, making people happy. You can't ask for a better gig than that.
No, no. And, you know, especially the most, you know, for some people, the most important day of their life. And you're
Mhm.
right there, front and center,
Yep.
making it happen. That's so awesome. Yay. So, what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
Animals.
I knew you were going to say that. Uh-huh.
They love you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
They are always there to support you and love you. And without my animals, I don't know what I would do.
Mm-hmm. And you've adopted, like you've been a foster home for lots of kittens and stuff like
Yes.
that throughout the time that I've known you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fostering for a long time. In fact, he's my newest foster failure right here. So yes.
And his name's Mayhem. He is
Mayhem.
just adorable. Just adorable. Yes. So who inspires you? Who are people that you really look up to?
There's a lot of people that I've met in over the years that have really inspired me. I mean, you're obviously very inspiring.
Thanks.
Angie, we both know Angie. She's
Mm-hmm.
awesome, very inspiring, very positive. People like that are, I mean, I just love people that, like you, that you're always positive no matter what. And I think that if you can just always put on a smiley face and the positive attitude every time, everywhere you go, no matter what, that you just, that is the best thing about life, is to always be looking at the glass half full instead of the glass half empty. And those are the people that I really, really, really enjoy, and I like to spend most of my time with, and like to see on social media and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a little light in the day, and sometimes when everything's negative, yeah, just look for the ones that always brighten you. Yes, yeah. I think that's super important.
And they're real people too. I mean, I could always say there's some celebrity out there or whatever that I really enjoy, but they're actual real people that I associate with.
Mm-hmm. So the last question, big question, if you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could say and the only chance you had to say it, what would that be?
Establish work-life balance early on.
Good tip. Yeah, a lot of people, you get so excited about the business and all, especially if it's new and it's growing, that you could focus all of your time on that and then neglect the people that you live with. That's a very easy thing to happen.
Yes. Yes. Especially if you're a workaholic, which I am.
Uh-huh.
And it's very difficult. So make sure you set those boundaries very early on, or you'll find yourself in a deep, deep hole of work. Yep. Your family will not be happy about that.
No, and then you're going to get that resistance instead of the support. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and that makes total sense. Yeah. So, is there anything else that you would like to share? And then we will give everybody your website. So if they have a wedding coming up, and most likely that would be Northern Nevada, Northern California, those areas that are pretty close around us, right? Yes. But then the travel, that is countrywide.
Yep. Anybody in the United States, I can still travel to. Yes. Okay. You know what? My only other piece of advice for anybody that's starting a business is know when to say when. If it's not working out, I mean, I did have one business that did fail, or, we had to say when, because it just wasn't working out. You have to know when to say when. If it's not working out, pull the plug. Don't be afraid to say that. Don't look at yourself and say, hey, I failed. Just look at yourself and say, hey, I learned, and this is what I'm not going to do next time. That's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, because not everything's going to work out. And, if you find yourself and it's just struggle, you're hitting the wall, and then taking a hit, money-wise, yeah, sometimes you got to do that.
Yep. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, and there's lots of work to owning your own business.
There is.
It doesn't matter what business, there's lots of work to owning your own business for sure. So if you guys would be interested in getting married by Miss Carole and doing a theme wedding or anything like that, whatever, I don't know if she would want to skydive with you or any of that. But go to yourmemorableday.com. I love that URL. That's like perfect. So yourmemorableday.com. So that would be for the wedding stuff, and that's mostly Northern Nevada, Northern California, anywhere that's pretty close to the Reno, Nevada area. And we have Lake Tahoe that's right here. So if you wanted to do a destination wedding, that's also something you could do, is go to Lake Tahoe. It's one of the most beautiful places, and that is totally distance for Carole. And then if you're interested in booking travel and things are starting to kick up, she said there's a couple cruise lines that are starting in August. But then she could do airfare, she could do all that kind of stuff, right? You could do all travel,
all inclusives, Disneyland, want to go on a safari, you name it.
Safari sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would go to planetcruiseship.com. And again, it's all travel, not just cruise ships. And that's planetcruiseship.com.
That's me.
Yep. So I very much appreciate you joining me today. Yay.
Yay.
And I love what you're doing, and I love that you can marry people and then send them on a honeymoon all together. Yeah, that's awesome. Yay. And then, hopefully this year, and we got to just decide when to do it. And if we do it smaller, it'll be an easier decision. So what are you doing next Thursday?
Whatever you want.
But anyways, thank you everybody for being here. Reach out to Carole if you're interested in either of those things. She's amazing. She'll totally have your back. And she's a dear friend of mine that I've known for quite a while, even though we're in the same town, don't see each other that often. So anyways, thank you very much, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay. How's everybody doing out there? I see Christina Latour. Hello. So true about weddings. Do you dress up for each theme too? And I know she does actually. She's got all sorts of costumes. And so the business that they had, and it'll give you a little understanding. So the business that they had that went down was a Costume Nation. And so, yeah, she loves to dress up. Like I said, she's a huge Comic-Con fan. And I absolutely love Carole and her husband and their daughter, Sydney. Awesome. So do we want to try something really quick? Does anybody want to come up and ask any questions? I have a StreamYard link right there in the chat if you guys want to pop in and say hi really quick. And then I'm going to play a video of how I came up with Only the Inspired. And then we'll bring up Sherese in a little bit. But if anybody wants to pop in here and say hi, that would be awesome. And again, let us know where you're coming from, and share this, share these interviews, because I know the next one for sure. She is like a productivity coach. She is super good with finding the weak links and actually getting you to get motivated and get stuff going in your business. And I love Sherese. I'm super excited about that. All right, so I am going to actually play this video of how I came up with Only the Inspired. And so it wasn't just a business idea. I hope you guys understand. It was a place that came out of need for coaches and a need for people who want to take courses and stuff. So there's several benefits to onlytheinspired.com, and lots of things came into play. This video I didn't talk about. I'll talk about it after we show the video. And then if anybody has any questions about Only the Inspired or anything like that, I want you to actually come on screen and talk to me for a minute. And I think that's going to be so much fun. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. But anyways, I am going to share my screen again, and I am going to play this video. It's only 16 minutes long. And then I will be back to answer any questions and hopefully bring you guys on screen. And then we will have the beautiful Sherese joining us. So, all right, here we go. We're going to share the screen. My name's Robin Leslie, and I am the founder of onlytheinspired.com. So this was created by many things happening all at once. First of all, I was a relationship coach, and I had been spending years trying to figure out how to market myself. So I'd buy this course and this course, trying to learn how to do webinars, trying to learn how to do sales funnels, trying to learn how to do memberships, trying to learn how to do the ask method. And so many different courses that I bought were all to teach me basically how to set up my business, how to market myself. Most of it was marketing. And I'm a creative, so I want to be the one that creates the courses. I want to be the one that helps the people. And so I had learned lots on how to market myself, and then realized that I was spending all of my time taking courses on how to market versus actually coaching. And I realized that there were many coaches that were with me in the same program. So it wasn't just me spending money. It was just tons of coaches desperate to get their word out, but having to learn the marketing and sales funnels and all that before they could actually get out there, and realizing that it's a red ocean. If you've ever read Blue Ocean, it's an amazing book, but it talks about red oceans where it's just like a Shark Tank, where it's a red ocean because everybody's competing with each other and nobody's collaborating. And so I love the collaboration. I wanted to create a space, and it has multiple different aspects to it. So number one, I wanted to create a space for coaches to be able to coach on whatever the heck they want to coach on, whether it is relationships or business or yoga or art. We have been taught going through the marketing that you have to pick one niche, that you have to pick one thing. And the reason for that, and it makes total sense, the reason for that is so that your marketing can talk to that ideal client, that your marketing could solve one specific problem. But if you're multi-passionate, why would you have to pick, right? So I'm a life coach, a strategic intervention coach, and I picked relationship coaching because I know everybody really has a human need to be in love. Doesn't mean that's the only thing I could coach on, but that's the one that I had picked because I thought I had to pick one. So I hope you understand where I'm going with this. And so there's a lot of frustration for a lot of coaches out there. They're creatives, they're not techies. And so they have to learn not only how to build a website, which they have some pretty cool stuff, but how to connect the website to a Zapier, to a PayPal, to a Active Campaign, to whatever. You have to connect so many different tools to try and get everything to work. And so you're spending so much of your time doing something that you're not good at, right? You're good at coaching, you're good at getting your message out, but you're not necessarily good at marketing unless you do marketing or unless you teach marketing. But most of us, well, I can't say most of us, a lot of us teach other things besides marketing. And so that was one of the things. I wanted to have a place where coaches could be on a site where they could be seen and they could coach, they could do what they're good at, do what their strengths are, versus having them to fight for the same customers everybody else wants, right? So I wanted to have a Netflix style, membership place where you pay one price and you get access to all the different coaching, right? So I was being taught at this one point, it was like the pivot. I was so far in debt. I was strapped. My bills were like $7,000 a month as a single mom, and I was just absolutely stressed out. But I knew this next marketing course that I got, this next one was going to be the one that put me over. It was going to be the one that would make all the money back. And I've seen I've seen how so many other people make, 25,000 in a month. It's like, oh, that just one of those months would pay off all of my debt, all of my courses, right? And so I found myself desperate to learn that one thing that was going to make it all different. And then I was being taught by a coach to charge $1,000 a month, right? So I started doing all of these calls with these people, and these people are on the verge of losing their marriage. A lot of them, they were living in separate houses and they're just totally stressed. Now the finances weren't just one household. Now it was two households. And hey, I can help you with your relationship, but you have to pay me $1,000 a month. And there's no guarantee that I'm going to help that relationship work out, because you can't guarantee something like that when you're dealing with two people, right? And I just, in my gut, felt dirty. Trust me, I've paid thousands of dollars for coaching and it was well worth it. But I also know what it's like to feel desperate for help and not having the money to do it. And so I didn't only want to help those people that had the $1,000 a month laying around, right? I didn't want to only help those people. I want to help everybody. And so say somebody pays $1,000 a month for the relationship part, but then they also need coaching on the business part. And they also need coaching on their health because their health is going down south, because they're miserable, because their relationship's all screwed up, right? And so not only for the coaches wanting to get their word out, spending all this money on on marketing and trying to market themselves. There's also all the people that need the help, but just absolutely can't afford to pay for a relationship coach and a business coach and this coach and that coach because it just is way, way, way too expensive. So I wanted to have a place where you could get access to all these different kinds of coaches for one price, right? And I'm also an inspired person. And so I wanted to have a place. Sometimes when you're inspired, you might be the only person that is inspired. So I would go to a Tony Robbins event, which is my ultimate happy place, and I'd be surrounded by 8,000 people just excited about life. And I've walked on fire 4 times, and then I'd come home to my day job and nobody around me nobody understands what I'm talking about. Why in the hell would I go and walk across 2,000 degree hot coals? Why would I be up and hardly get any sleep for 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row because I'm, working on myself? Nobody understood that. And then when I would talk to them about business or whatever, a lot of them don't understand funnels or whatever. And so it becomes a very lonely place. If you're not surrounded by other people who are inspired, who are like-minded, then it could be a very, very lonely place. And so I wanted to have a place. And I realized, because they talk about in marketing, they talk about what is your ideal client? Who is your ideal client? And I had worked with people in relationships that I knew did not think like me. And the concept for them to think like me, it just didn't fit. It came to me that the people that I want to work with, the people that I am drawn to help and to be around are inspired people who want to have an amazing life, people who know that they're meant for greater things, people that know that they are meant for amazing things, that they need to build a business or they need to help somebody or just to get better at being themselves. And you don't have to be somebody who wants to start your own business. An inspired person is somebody who feels obligated to become the best person that they want to be. I believe that we're all put on this earth to become the best humans that we can be in our own way. And so we all have different ways of doing that. But to be supported and, maybe have somebody who knew they have this burning desire to do something bigger and better, something that inspires them, something that they can make an impact on, and know that they don't have that support at home. I wanted to create a space where people could come out of the closet and say, I want to be a coach, or I want to start my own business, and not have people laugh at them, not have people say, that's never going to work. But, why would you do that? And nobody's going to buy anything from you. We all need cheerleaders, and sometimes you don't get that at home. Sometimes you don't get that at work, right? So where do you get that? You have to surround you have to surround yourself by like-minded people. And so only the inspired is for coaches who want to coach, who want to make a difference, but who don't want to be strapped with the techie stuff or buying all the marketing stuff just to get some clients to be able to coach to, right? And I want it for the inspired people to have somebody around them when they say, I want to become a coach or I want to start my own business. Have other people around you. How can we help you or give you ideas and support you and cheer you on, and vice versa? And I wanted a place where the coaches can collaborate with the members, right? Because you never know who's in the crowd. You never know. And sometimes a seed will be planted by a coach, and then that will blossom into something big. Or you can have, I love collaboration versus competition, right? So I am totally cool if we have 50 relationship coaches on the same website. You know why? Because they're all going to teach something different. Some of them will teach single women 45 and up. Some of them will teach divorced people. Some of them will teach dating. Some of them will teach married couples. And even if they teach the same target market, they're going to teach it in a totally different way, right? So there is no competition, right? They're each going to be different. And you might not totally like this one person's personality, but you love this one. And who cares if they're all on one site, right? And you get access to all of those when you're on onlytheinspired.com. And I've always desperately, since I was a little kid, wanted to make an impact on the world, right? I remember when I was little and watching, I'm getting emotional, watching those videos of the starving little kids in Ethiopia and not being able to help them, right? So charities is such a huge such a huge part of this. So I want to be able to donate lots and lots and lots of money to all sorts of charities. And I want the members and the coaches to actually recommend those charities. And it could be a family who just lost their home in a house fire, or it could be Pencils of Promise. It could be starving kids. It could be, charities to help bring clean water to different countries, whatever. So that is a huge, huge part of it. Along with the coaches, right? The coaches now will have a place to have their courses and live coaching. So I forgot to mention that part. So I don't only want to have courses on the site, right? Because there's lots of places that have courses on the site. I want to have live coaching on the site, right? Where you can actually ask the coach questions, or you could get on a Zoom call and actually go through this process with the coach instead of just reading or listening to a course. And with the coaches, on top of not having to worry about marketing, because the site's going to market for you, the site's going to bring in all the people. And so you're going to have this huge amount of audience that you might not have targeted on your own, right? But I also want to be able to pay those coaches a healthy annual income. So it eliminates all of their stress. I don't want them to just be on the site and give away their course for free. No, they need to be able to earn an income, and whether that's their full-time income or supplemental income, I'm cool with that. Another thing about onlytheinspired.com is I want people to connect and collaborate, whether it be the members with the coaches, whatever, coaches with coaches. I don't want it to be a site where there's lots of pitches, right? So I want it to be a pitch-free site, but at the same time, allow you guys to connect and collaborate with each other. And then outside of the site, connect, sell whatever you want. If you want, I don't want to limit anybody, right? I don't want to limit anybody with their business. I want to provide great value for the members that are here on the site. I want to create great value for the coaches and create an income for the coaches so they could feel free to coach whatever they want. And I want to donate big amounts to charity. I want to have live events. I want to have live events where the coaches actually get to be on the stage for the first time, right? I want for those members to finally be able to meet each other in person and just, I want it to be a family. I want it to be amazing. And I know it will be. It's a win-win for absolutely everybody. And it goes so deep. And at some point, I'm not sure when, but I also want money not to be an issue for anybody. If somebody really wants to be on the site and can't afford the $127 a month, I want them to be able to actually earn an income, right? So I will have affiliates where you can promote the site and you can create an income for yourself. So as a member or as a coach, you could also create an income. And so it's just a win-win situation. But I wanted to give you a little insight of where all that came from and why I created Only the Inspired. It's to help everybody So anyways, I appreciate your time. I am Robin Leslie. I'm the founder, and I'm super excited that you're here with me. Okay, thank you. Okie dokie. All right. Did I stop sharing? Okay, I stopped sharing. Okay. Personal bonding is critical. Yes, I'm not sure who that was. Does anybody want to come on live and actually talk to me for a second? I did put the StreamYard link above. If you guys want to join me live, ask any questions. It's so funny. There's certain things about Only the Inspired that bring me to tears, and the charity is one of them. And so I hope you guys see how kind of it's hard to kind of explain how to explain Only the Inspired, because I have two different audiences, and one is the coaches and one is the members. And so sometimes it's hard to explain because I'm talking about both and I'm flipping back and forth to both. But I believe this is an absolute win-win-win situation for everybody. You know, if I was one of those that could pay $127 a month, and right now it's $47 a month, and get access to all of the training that I wanted, and getting coaches, you know, a health coach and business coach and relationship coach. If I could get access to all of that for $127 a month, that'd be a steal. I was paying $130 a month for one coach for weekly content, so I'd get one weekly content. But I absolutely loved her course, and I was in that for 3-4 years. Absolutely love her, and I'm actually hoping that she's going to be one of the coaches on the site. But yeah, you know, it is so much value for the members and for the coaches, you know, because the coaches, as you could tell, they're from every background, and they're absolutely beautiful. And it is deep down in their heart to actually help as many people as possible. And so, yeah, any way I could support that, the better. Yay. And so I did want to say real quick, so there was somebody yesterday that helped me share some stuff on the site. Well, there were lots of people, but Andrea Levine, I'm not sure, but you just won a 3-month membership. So I highly encourage you guys to jump in there and help share and help promote Only the Inspired. I believe it's going to help so many people, whether they want to start a business or just make their lives happy and healthy. I'm super excited about that. So on to the next point, which is the beautiful Sherese Shy-Holmes. And she's going to be here any minute. Actually, she's just coming on now. Woo! Hold on. There she is. How you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I haven't seen you in a while.
No, you've been working pretty hard.
Yeah, well, and that's going to increase here. I have to go back to work on Friday.
Oh, wow.
So you guys are going to see how I could
manage.
Keep my energy up. So we're going to see how that works. But I'm super excited to have you on here today. So we recorded our interview June 4th.
Yes.
And so you haven't seen it, so I'm super excited for you to see that. So do you want to let us know how things are going with you right now? How's COVID? And you're in Chicago, right?
Yes. It's going pretty good. I mean, Chicago actually isn't doing too bad, except the recent riots and craziness that happened last night. But
something happened last night.
Oh, they started rioting. There was like a shooting over the weekend, I guess, and they started rioting and they hit the Magnificent Mile. So it's been a little chaotic over here.
Wow.
But as far as my personal growth and development, I actually started a garden. So I've been finding so much joy and true life lessons and my very own characters being tested in this garden. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the rest. I'm enjoying the pause. I'm working on a book right now, so it's been okay.
So have you been working your day job, or are you?
Yes, I'm still working my day job and also working with the Resilient Me as well, creating some new stuff, new content, and all of that. So I'm pretty busy.
Yeah. So what's your book going to be about?
It's called How to Lead with Emotions. You guys are hearing it first here. My overall premise of the book, though, is how to use your emotions as data rather than directives. So how to interpret and understand what your emotions are trying to tell you and then process them accurately so you can make the right decision instead of just, like an angry backlash or retaliation. You want to move from this reactionary space to being able to respond from a sober-minded place. So that's what the book is about.
Very cool. I was just listening to Dare to Lead this morning. I'm a Audible girl, and that's a Brene Brown. And so she was talking about that when the emotions come up, if somebody says something and you feel that rage, sometimes you could just like throw it at the person. She encourages people to actually get curious about it. Okay, where is this coming from? What does it mean? And think before you speak.
Yes.
And, find out. Yeah.
She does excellent work on shame. Helped me a lot just through the books. I've never attended like any courses. I've watched some of her stuff online, but the books have helped me so much. I have way too many to actually name of hers.
And I love her. She's got just such a Southern attitude, and I totally relate with how she talks. And I just love. Yeah, I got one book that wasn't narrated by her, and it just wasn't the same. You have to have her saying it. So I'm super excited. So this is going to be a full book.
Yes, it's going to be a full book. I was actually talking to my writing coach, and she was saying, if you want women to be able to have a way to process some of the stuff that you're working through, you should probably do a workbook. So now it's turned into a book and a supplemental workbook. And then this morning, as I was writing, I was like, I think we need a journal too. So we'll see. I've got some lofty ideas here of how much I want to do with this. So yeah, it's going to be a full book with a supplemental workbook and possibly a journal. We'll see how that goes.
I love that. Yeah. So I have a ebook on Kindle, and so it's an action workbook. So you're supposed to actually do the work, and when it's on Kindle and not a real book, you can't print anything. So I have little links for them to go and do the workbook. Yeah. What's the point of reading a book if you're not actually going to take the action steps? It's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah. But what did you learn about you when you were doing that? And so I love the workbook thing. And I know Vishen with Mind Valley, he was doing books and then having a course that goes along with it, chapter by chapter. And so, which is awesome.
Yes, that's my plan.
Yeah, love that. Good for you. Yay. Are you ready to watch your interview?
Yes, I'm ready, and I'm going to share right now on my Facebook while we're talking. So
okay, and so I am gonna share my screen. And I think I got it dialed now where the sound comes on. Yeah, because it's weird. I can't hear the sound on my computer at all. But and then just mute yourself. And then we will bring you back up after the interview and have questions and answers. And so for everybody watching, there is actually a StreamYard link. So you could actually come on and actually talk to Sherese and I and ask her questions. And I think that's going to be so much better than actually just putting in the chat. So I'm super excited about that. So, okay. So I'm getting ready to share my screen and we will see you in just a little bit.
Sounds good.
Robin Leslie again with onlytheinspired.com, and I have the beautiful Miss Sherese Shy-Holmes with me today, coming to us from Chicago. So let's find out a little bit more about her. So in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
All right. Again, my name is Sherese Shy-Holmes, and I am the creator and founder of The Resilient Me. And mainly what I focus on is just being like an accountability coach, a mindset coach to help women achieve their goals mentally, financially, and physically. So that's my area of the genius zone, where I get the most results. And I'm most excited and happy to work in that capacity.
Nice. And so how did you get started in that? And that's kind of the opposite of what you do for a living.
Yes.
So I'm curious what took you and to say what you do for a living, and then what got you to switch into doing this on the side.
Okay. I'm an auditor. So to some degree, like on the surface, it looks like they don't actually line up, but because of the structure that auditing gives me, it makes me a fantastic accountability coach because I have to stay on task and meet deadlines and know how to encourage, motivate, inspire to get things done. So they kind of relate. But this journey has been a bit long, but I would say the turning point for me happened when I was going through divorce. And I think the way the divorce came about, it was actually during the financial crisis. So this happened like 2008-ish. And everything was just falling apart for us. And I was just in this mindset of like, okay, we just got to figure out how to make this work. Like if I have to work 2-3 jobs, you work 2-3 jobs, like we'll figure this out. And my ex-husband at the time was not interested. So the financial burden for everything fell on me. And a lot of people came to me and they were like, well, he's not abusing you. He's not cheating on you, whatever. You shouldn't get a divorce. But I was like, you don't understand. Like, I'm going to lose it the way that I have to carry, the financial burden. So I filed for divorce. It was horrible. I mean, not about people can say, oh, I had a good divorce. But because I was the one who initiated it and I came from a Christian background, my parents were pastors, there was a lot of guilt and condemnation and shame that I carried. So I had this false belief in my head that I was a very bad person. And I betrayed God, my church, my family, all of that. So I opened myself up to the idea that I deserve to be punished. So when I say from one horrible thing to the next continuously happened to me, whether it was getting a double ear infection and being in the hospital, horrible experiences at work. This was a straw on the back. So I'm straw on the camel's back. So I'm gonna cut to the chase here. I was living with 4 girls at the time. We were roommates and we were all like late 20s. And I had this cute black Mustang GT convertible parked literally like my room faced the front of the house. So I could see all the cars, all the traffic and everything. And I remember coming back from the laundry room with like a basket in my hand and just kind of like walking back to my room. And I hear this loud screeching sound and you just hear like, boom. And I was like, my heart immediately dropped. Now, mind you, the street is full of cars. I have no idea why. I totally believed it was my car. Lo and behold, it was definitely my car. And when I say that the whole street was packed with cars, you at that point, I was just like, I can't believe it. Like anything that could go wrong for me has gone wrong. It doesn't get any worse. So I remember like standing in the doorway, like after, the police had come and we filed the report and my car was just parked and got got totaled out. I just remember crying and weeping and my friend came from behind me, my roommate, and she was like, Sherese, have you thought that maybe you're causing all these bad things to happen? And I was like, girl, no. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, all I ever hear you say is that you deserve this or all these bad things are happening. So you're welcoming them in. And that concept, and I didn't understand it at the time, but it just kind of clicked with me. And she was like, I think you're holding yourself hostage and in a cage. And so you're welcoming all these bad things. And it was like that day, it just clicked for me. And I was like, okay, enough is enough. Like, I'm human. I make mistakes. Maybe I should have gotten divorced or not. I don't know, but we are divorced now. And I need to pick up the pieces from here because I can't take another, what I call high impact loss. So it was from that day forward, I started on this entire journey to like restructure and redesign my life and come out of this horrible financial hole in so much debt and losing so much at the same time, to finally, you know, pulling myself all the way out of that, to winning awards at work, you know, making 6 figures on the job and having phenomenal relationships. I ended up buying, not only going from living with 4 girls to being able to buy my own apartment building. So I came out of all of that. And then my friends, of course, they saw this major transformation and they're like, Sherese, can you help me? I have family saying, can you help me? You know, and so many people pulling on me, like, you have so much wisdom, can you share? And so that kind of led into people being like, well, can you just like help me for a couple months and I'll pay you? So it just like, it kind of like made like the coaching aspect kind of like made itself happen.
They forced it on you.
Yeah, they forced me into it. They forced my hand. And I was like, I don't want to charge you. She was like, no, I need to put my money on this. Otherwise, I'm not going to take it serious. I'm just going to pretend like you're my friend. So I was like, okay.
Lots of wisdom right there.
Exactly. So that's how I got where I am today.
Wow. Well, and I do hear people say, what else is going to happen? It's like, don't ask that question because
Right.
you're just allowing it. And you know what, you know, yeah.
You just open the door.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And it's crazy, that little shift in you should be kissing your friend's feet. It's like, thank you for the wake-up call. You know, thank the guy who wrecked your car or whatever. Oh, that's awesome. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
My ultimate vision would to be, so you know how they have like B school? I think I want a school of life. And I know that sounds very broad and drastic, but I just think that we don't always have the skills we need to cope, to grow, to develop, to prosper even. And if I could create a resource so people can come and learn about these specific skills, things that we just don't learn in school, things we don't learn in college, and be able to give and equip people with the tools to succeed, that is my ultimate goal. Now that's like a big, giant, grand vision there. But like on a smaller scale, you know, being able to produce resources and content, be books or courses or workshops even, I would like to be able to touch as many people as possible and be able to share not only my story, but the story of people that I've helped come out of situations that I've been through. So
Right.
That's my overall goal. Yeah.
No, and I love it. And I love your big goal. I'm a big goal person myself. But so if your parents don't teach you that stuff, you know you're not going to learn it in school. You know you're not going to learn it in college. It is our responsibility to go out there and learn that stuff. But it would be wonderful if there was a place where people knew I could go here, I could learn these skills. And yes, I love that vision that you have.
I think the saying, you don't know what you don't know, is extremely applicable to life in general, because you think that you have all the resources and tools and you're like plowing away and you're working so hard and you're grinding. I have people that I know right now that like, I went the way I was supposed to. I got the degree, but I keep losing my job. You know, I just can't get ahead. And I'm like, sometimes especially in friendships, I don't want to overstep and be like, well, this is what you need to do, and let me give you this advice. So I try to back down and just sprinkle it a little bit as I go. But I know so many people like that. And it's not that you didn't do the right thing. You just don't know what you don't know. And we can just start with your limiting belief right there. So it's that kind of stuff. I didn't know that. Nobody taught me about limiting beliefs when I grew up. Like, it's something that I had to run head on into the wall to figure out. And I would like everybody to know this without having to run into the wall to figure it out.
Exactly. But some of us, unfortunately, have to hit that wall before, you know, and you try and teach your teenagers, right? If you can listen to what I'm teaching you, you could avoid all of this headache. No, I got this. I'm smarter than you.
I mean, I won't lie. I was obviously one of those persons. My mom used to say a hard head makes for a soft butt. I say a hard head makes for a soft head when you're an adult. Finally, you just break and be like, okay, I will listen. What is it I need to know right now?
So many people have been in your shoes. I love that you're being so honest about that. That's awesome. So what was the hardest thing for you to overcome when starting your business?
The belief that I was worthy.
especially when I was doing so much for free, especially, you know, for friends and family. Maybe some people would be like, oh, I'll pay you, whatever. But being able to command what you believe you're worth, first you have to believe that you're worth something. And that's a big hurdle to get over. Like, why would people listen to me? Why is my story important? I've had multiple people tell me you need to write about your story. And I'm just like, you know, okay, like the other 1,000 people who did, and their books went, you know, nowhere. And I don't want that to be me, and just all this negative self-talk, you know? And I was like, I have to get over myself. I have to get over this ego that if it doesn't land at #1 on Amazon, like I suck. Like those are all, again, limiting beliefs. Those are like really hard that you have to work through. And I don't think you work through them and they're like, yeah, I arrived, I'm good. Like you're always going to run into those in some area of your relationships, your life, your business. And it's like, okay, a heart check, you know, what's my heart posture here right now? What resistance am I running up against? And what is the belief connected to it? It's almost like finding resistance is a gift because you get to unlock more of yourself in those moments. So I hope I answered the question.
Well, Tony Robbins calls it CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. You know, 'cause as long as we're growing, there's going to be lessons that we need to learn, and then you grow wisdom and experience after those. Yes, so it's part of it. Sometimes it's painful.
Exactly. Growing pains are real.
So I'm curious on this next question. It sounds like you have at least part of it. So some people do, some people don't. So do you have the support of a network of friends or family that are saying, go for it, go out there and do this? Or you decide this is something I feel I need to do, I'm going to do it, even if everybody says it's the dumbest idea ever?
I have a lot of support, and it feels like a lot of people have been waiting on me. Which I know a lot of people don't get to experience that, but my family has always spoken greatness over my life since I was a young child. My friends, anything that I do, they're like, share, like, you know, everybody's like, look at this, my awesome friend, go do her coaching and accountability. Like she helped me, you know, lose weight or this and that. So I definitely find that so invaluable, especially when I first got started. And then there are some areas of my life where my family or friends are just like, oh, that's cute. And you're like, I just poured my heart out into this project, you know, crickets. But I think it's important to know, #1, your family is probably not your target audience. And the sooner you get that into your head and stop expecting them, like I never required any of my family members to support, share, like, or friends to do any of those things. If you want to do them, like no one's obligated to do anything for you. And I've come to that, you know, terms. If I want to make this happen, I have to make this happen for Sherese. Like I can't rely on someone else to believe in me, even though I know I have that support. It's not always going to be the support that I feel I needed or that I think that I want in that moment. But I've honestly just counted as a bonus that they're here to support me. And I'm just really focused on like my target audience because they're probably not my target audience, and that's okay too. So.
And that's a great outlook to have. And that's a super great outlet. And, you know, I've been there sometimes, you know, if I post funny things on Facebook, hundreds of friends like and comment and share. And then I post something about my business, you know, it's like crickets.
Yeah.
And right. We might have a little expectation in there a little bit, but I like your outlook where don't have any expectation, just do your thing. And if they, you know, support you or encourage you, it's a bonus. I like the way you look at that. And that's one of the reasons why I asked that question is because some people are going against everybody they know. So some have the opposite of support and some have somewhere in the middle and some have just people going, oh, you know, you were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about your business?
Transformation. I think even when I was younger and I wasn't doing the Resilient Me, I used to have like a nonprofit tutoring program for underserved children in our neighborhood in California. I'm in Chicago now, but before I lived in California for a very long time. And being able to, I'm sorry. Anaheim. We were in the Anaheim Fullerton area, not that far from Disneyland. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And being able to see my students come in from like 1.9 and have tears in their eyes when it's time to graduate and they have a 3.0 and they're like, I didn't think I was going to graduate. I didn't think I would have a 3.0 and now I can actually apply to college. That's just the joy that I got out of that has just stuck with me. And it's the same thing, like working with people to help them achieve their goals and saying, my mind's all over the place. I have monkey mind. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I haven't been able to accomplish that, just all this stuff. And then we hammer out like a roadmap to success and they actually achieve it. And they're like, whoa, I don't care what it is. It could be very simple as like being able to meal prep and, homeschool the kids and do your full-time job at home online and just having peace and no chaos. The fact that you went from chaos to peace is phenomenal. And that you now can focus even more on your self-care. That's huge to me because a lot of women, we wear so many different hats and we don't really have time to fill up for ourselves. And then now we can dream further than the home. Now that home's taken care of, now we can look at what else do you want to do beyond the home. So just watching that transition and the peace, the accomplishment, whatever goal is they're trying to reach, even if it's just saving money or helping them figure out how to save money to buy a house. And then they buy the house and then they freak out that they bought the house and it only took like a year, and where they thought that they could never happen. I love seeing those results. So results and the outcomes, the rewards of the outcome, that's my favorite part.
Yay. Awesome. I love that. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business-wise.
Well, my latest passion, since I've been confined to my home, is gardening. This is kind of like way left right now, but I have found time in the pause to dig deeper into things that I like to do, which is my mom tells me, and there's so many videos and stuff, and I kind of remember it as a child, like always wanting to go outside and just play in the grass, mix herbs. I don't know what I was doing, mixing herbs with mud and water and vinegar, just doing random stuff. And I remember like how fun that was to me, and then getting disconnected from that. We get busy with life and going to school and creating businesses and coaching people and always on the go, especially like with auditing, constantly traveling. You don't really have time to like sit and just reconnect with the earth. Where we came from, and we have a tendency to, because we're disconnected from it, to abuse it. And I feel like just being able to be in the garden, to touch the dirt, to look at the worms, to hope that my seeds grow. There's so many lessons that are unlocking for me about life right now, which is really crazy. And I'll be in the dirt and I'm like, oh, let me take my gloves off. I gotta write this on my phone. Like, I gotta do a podcast on this. This is awesome, So that passion has affected and impacted how I'm able to reach other people. And I didn't think that it was related. It appeared to be some like left desire, kind of like we were just talking about earlier with Marie Forleo and her wanting to do hip hop. Like, I think you have to have that measure of play that can fuel your life passions, so that it's not always like work, deadline, got to meet this client, got to respond to this text message, got to send this email, got to do this podcast. I mean, the heart just becomes so stiff at that point. So you got to have passions outside of just the things that, inspire you to work with clients and see those results. So that's my big passion right now. I spent so much money, I won't even say. Like, as a newbie, you're just like, I'm gonna buy all these books and all these gardening tools and 5 different kinds of dirt, and it's a lot.
You probably get super excited when the baby plants come up.
Yes,
like, I hope that's the vegetable and not a weed.
Right?
Oh, my earring just fell out. Yeah, well, that's funny. I like that. So who inspires you? Who is somebody who inspires you?
Oh gosh. I would say my grandpa just recently passed away, and my grandparents, my grandma's alive, but my grandparents definitely inspired me. I think the foundation that they laid in the home, it was second to none. They gave my generation an opportunity. They gave my mom and, my uncle and my aunts an opportunity that isn't, always present and available, especially to African Americans. And then our parents were able to lay an even stronger foundation to create what I am now able to live. And that inspiration alone, just like my grandfather worked at UPS for like 25 years, retired when he was like 50. My grandma and I say we because we used to live with them off and on, especially when I was really, really young. My grandparents lived in like a predominantly white neighborhood. So them coming in, it's like the first Black African American family was a little tumultuous at the time. But even in the church that we went to also was predominantly white. And my grandfather was like the very first African American pastor on staff there, first African American to make it on the board. So that is so inspiring to me, because sometimes you can feel like the small steps that you make and you take don't mean a lot, but they do. And it's impacted me and how I speak up and how I choose to be present in the moments. And it's like when you have such a strong foundation to stand on, your confidence is not shaken easily. You're like, if he can do all this, surely I can toughen up and get even more done. And then I didn't finish the sentence. My grandma owned her own salon in a predominantly white neighborhood too, and did very well. And I think she had her salon for like 20 years. So at that time when they were coming through, that was like unheard of. So it's just having that legacy is so inspiring. And I mean, my grandpa tells me, my grandpa used to tell me too before he passed, like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Might I add that I'm probably the favorite, favorite grandchild. I'm just kidding. I hope none of my cousins hear this. But I would have to say they have been the most inspiring to me overall, just hearing their stories of how, like, my grandma, her parents, they were sharecroppers and they were picking cotton. She was like, I hated doing that. She's like, I used to sleep on my mom's bed. Like, the bags were so long and huge that she was like, she could actually lay down and go to sleep as a kid on the bag, and her mom wouldn't notice. And then she'd be pulling the bag, and then she'd be like, get up! I can't believe you're sleeping. And so to hear those kind of stories, and then to look to like owning my own apartment building is like, wow, like how far we've come in such a short amount of time. So yep, their story by far.
Incredible role models. Those are incredible role models. That's awesome. Yeah. Yay. So, big question. If you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could share and the only time you had to say it, what would it be?
Double down on self-care in times of crisis and turmoil. By far. One of the hardest lessons I've had to learn, because sometimes we don't understand where sickness and disease and additional invitations of horrible situations come from, is because we're not filling up our own cup. And if I don't fill up my own cup, I can't help you. I can't help the person next to me. I can't show up on my job. I can't help my kids. I can't help my spouse until I take care of me. Self-love, self-acceptance, self-care. Double up on self-care in times of crisis, because that's usually the first thing to go. And I've been like talking, with all the riots going on and the whole situation, with George Floyd and the social injustices, a lot of people around me, I'm like, are you working out? Are you meditating? Are you journaling? No. But I've been crying. Okay, I need you to get back into your self-care routine. We have to continue. You need a restorative practice. There's a reason why. We cannot help anyone until I'm full. So that would be my number one piece of advice to share.
And it's, that whole situation going on is such a sad thing. So what would you say to those people who feel guilty about self-care?
I actually do have some people that I know that are like that. And I would say, and this might hurt, this might be a big ouch for you, so take a deep breath after I say this and then just release it. We have a tendency to care about other people more than we care about our own self. And that is a very big problem, because I can't love you fully, wholly, and completely beyond how much I love myself. I can't give you something that I haven't given myself. So the guilt that's there, it probably started from childhood. Let's just be honest. And whether it was like, I'm the oldest, so there was a lot of lead, share, be the example, don't think about yourself, your brothers and sisters, all of that. It's drilled into your head to help other people before you help yourself. But in that feeling guilty, you have to realize you're never going to be able to help anyone beyond how much you help yourself. Like if you truly love people the way you say you do, and you really want to show up for your kids or your husband, or, at work or in your business, like you're doing them a disservice by not taking care of you first. And the sooner you can understand that, like, I'm actually showing up short for them, and I could show up so much more powerfully if I just engage with me first, that you just like, look at what I'm giving now. Can you imagine when I actually fill up myself?
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of like reframe your perspective to it, because there's nothing wrong with you being energized by helping other people. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. But if you just reframe it to know I can help other people better and in a greater capacity if I fill up myself, then use that. Whatever you got to do, fill up yourself though.
Yeah. Well, because if you're falling apart because you're spreading yourself so thin and you haven't given back to yourself or taken care of yourself, slept and, give yourself good nutrition and stuff like that. If you're falling apart, you're not going to be able to help anybody.
Yeah. One of my favorite images on Instagram is, I've seen this image and it's always been written out. When you're on the airplane and they give you the whole drill of what you're supposed to do in the event of some accident or something happens and the pressure drops in the cabin. The first thing they tell you to do is put your mask on first before you help children or other people. Because if you're losing oxygen and you're trying to help everybody else with their mask, you probably won't make it. And I remember that in times of crisis, like, okay, as much as you want to reach out and check on everybody and call and make sure they're good, make sure you're spending time for yourself, because I'm going to be so drained, I might not even be able to help you at some point. So I keep that in the forefront of my mind. Put your own oxygen mask on first and then assist others.
Yes, I love that. You are such a bright, shining light.
Thank you.
So adorable.
You are as well.
So is there anything else you wanted to share? I know you have a freebie that you want to give away. Is there anything else you want to share besides that?
I would just say in this time, with it being from 1 week to the next, you have no idea what's coming or going or happening, to stay grounded. Again, self-care is so important in this time, in this season, and being connected to your loved ones, your friends, your family, having that support group. Like, I know some of us might still, like Chicago is still not come out of lockdown, so to speak. We phased a little bit, but right when we were about to come out, it went crazy over here. So we ended up getting a curfew and all that. So it went backwards. So having the moment of self-care is the most impactful thing that I've been able to hold on to these last 3 months or so. So I hope that everyone is able to go to my website, which is www.theresilient.me. And as soon as you get onto the website, the pop-up will say, hey, do you want to get your free self-care guide and 30-day planner? Please get it. It's free, okay? And it's got some good, juicy tips on there and what to do. And I believe it's the very last page or second to last page. There's a 30-day planner, which gives you a self-care activity to do for the next 30 days. And some of it includes just unplugging, like just get off social media, just take a break, take a breather, turn off your phone, put it on airplane mode. I don't know what, but I've had to do that a couple days this week myself. So I've got tons of tips in there. Huh?
Go outside, play in the garden.
Yes, I've been doing that too. I had to be very careful because 6 hours can go by fast for me in the garden. I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh wait, I was supposed to be back in the house.
So the website is Resilient, RESILIENT.me. And go there. Right on the front page is the opt-in for the self-care freebie, and then look for that 30-day planner also. So yes. I so much appreciate you coming here today and sharing and being vulnerable. So many people have been through what you have been through, with the struggles with 2008 and just being buried in feeling like nothing but negative crap is happening. And then, yes, the wake up call. And thank goodness your friend kind of,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I think that's so important. And there's a lot of us. We all at one point need a wake up call. And so I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and I just love what you're doing with Only the Inspired. So I'm grateful to even have been selected to be on the team in the forefront. So it was a phenomenal opportunity, and I couldn't miss it.
Yay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And we will see you next time. Okay. So, so how was that for you? Was that interesting? And your hair's so much longer than in that video, huh?
I know. Well, I was like, this is what's happening. I've been taking so many vitamins. I didn't even realize like how much growth I've got in a short amount of time. But I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I appreciate, again, having the opportunity to be a part.
Absolutely. It was a joy to do the interview. And yeah, and you're just so much fun to have a conversation with, you know. I absolutely love that. So I'm if anybody's out there and you have questions for Sherese, you could click on that StreamYard link and actually join us live. But I'm curious about so that was a couple months ago, and then you're talking about the gardening now. So what lessons are you learning from the gardening that are helping you with everything else? I'm super curious.
Okay, so this one is actually more personal. I have a patience issue. And I think one of the things I noticed is that, you know, the first fruit, at least for me, I don't know about all the other gardeners, your first fruit has a tendency to come weeks before the rest of your fruit and vegetables begin to harvest. So sometimes that space, that time period can cause you to like worry or to vacillate. Like, did I do the right thing? Do I need more water? Should I add more calcium? And I started getting like impatient with it. So I realized like that is something that I actually do in my own life. Like if you make a decision, you pull the trigger, you go for it, and then you jump out there, like you start the business, you start the podcast, the blog or whatever. And then you start like, I didn't get the results that I was thinking that I was going to get, you know, where are the people, where are the likes, where are the comments, where are the shares, you know, and it causes you to doubt yourself, doubt the work, the time, the energy, and the skill that you put in. But I've learned if I stay consistent and I keep going out and I keep pouring into the garden, the rest of the fruit and vegetables will develop and they will come. So just breathe through it. Like you're going to see a little bit of result immediately, but then you have to be in this for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I like to sprint. I'm a sprinter. I want to see results right now. And I even mentioned that in the interview, how much I enjoy results and transformation, but I have to take my time and be careful and just be aware that this stuff is not going to happen overnight. So that's one of the things I've personally learned about.
Gotcha. And that's a perfect lesson for me. And I'm the same kind of way, right? So I start something new and I blast it. And I totally, you know, because I blasted it so big, you expect that to come back that quick, right? It's like I'm going out, you know, balls to the walls. I'm putting everything out there as fast as I can. And you expect immediate results. And that is one of my personal lessons is consistency. You know, be there for sure, you know, all the time. And you mentioned Marie Forleo on the interview, and that is something consistency for her. So I took B school, I think it was 2012. And since I first got connected with her and I heard about her through Tony Robbins, he used to have a interview series. Anyways, so since 2012, every single Tuesday, there's a new email, a new Marie TV episode, and now she's doing her little things on Instagram. But every Tuesday like clockwork for 8.5 years now.
Wow.
And no wonder she is super successful. She is so entertaining, but she is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Always consistent. And so that is one of my weak points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that lesson. It's something very simple. You gotta love it and nurture it and take care of it, and it will blossom eventually. Maybe not as fast as you want.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. So do you have anything else that you would like to share with everybody?
I think at this time, it's just important for us to be flexible. You may have started off the year with one intention, one goal, one plan, and you thought it was going to work out this specific way. And I know a lot of us have been hearing the word like pivot, pivot, pivot. You know, it's a season for us to adapt. And I would say, do not throw 2020 in the trash. There's cause for the pause if you just take the time to actually dig deep and figure out what is it I'm supposed to learn, what lessons about myself, about my family, about my money, about my business that I could be learning right now, and make sure you gather the fruit. There's so much for us to glean in this season. So I just want to encourage people, if you were going to start the business, if you were going to do the podcast, if you were going to take a class, go for it. Now is the time, especially since we have more space and rest at this particular moment. I would not, as my pastor likes to say, I'm not going to turn my plow. I will continue, and I will keep going. So that would be my thing to leave people with.
Awesome. And Debbie Hannah says, awesome. Thank you, Sherese.
Debbie.
Yeah, and this is 2020. So from a numerology standpoint, it's a 4-year, which is a grounding. It's back to basics. It's, you know, and a lot of times that's reconnecting with family, reconnecting with yourself. Some of us we were forced to take time off. Yeah. And some are still taking time off. And that is, it could be negative in one aspect, but it could be the biggest blessing. How many things did you say, I don't have time to do that? I'll put that off. I don't have time to do that. And so there's several of the coaches on the summit that have written books. Ellie, she's coming up in a few days. And so when I did the interview with her in May, she had started 3 businesses and written a book.
Wow.
And then I think next week she is getting interviewed by Jack Canfield.
Awesome.
And all because she was forced to shut down. So you can Netflix and binge if you want, or you could get stuff done, or you can just find peace with yourself and realign with what is super important to you. And it is, trust me, it is a totally stressful time for especially small business owners. So I feel them on that. Awesome. So I am going to put Sherese's giveaway, the self-care freebie. I'm going to put hers and Carole's links. And then yesterday I didn't get a chance to put up Claudia's and Robert's links in the giveaway. So in the Facebook group, there's a little giveaways post topic. And I'll put it actually as an announcement today. And that way you could go in there and get all of the freebies from all of the coaches, which is super beneficial, and all of them, you know, who couldn't use a self-care freebie. And I've got to increase that self-care here really soon because I'm going to be super busy. Yeah. And, you know, all of the coaches are going to be there in the group. If you want to reach out to Sherese, you want to reach out to Carole or Robert or Claudia, any of the coaches, they're in the group. And so you could just hit them up. And I love that part about the group. You know, they're all reachable, and it's a community. Yes, absolutely. Okay. And so this is the last day for my Indiegogo campaign. If you want to be a member or a coach, you could get a year-long membership for $299. So it's $299 for a year-long membership. So that's like $25 a month. And the full price is $127 once we get to that point. But anyways, if you want to jump on that, we have like 12 or 14 hours left, something like that. So I'm just throwing that out there. So anyways, thank you, Sherese, for being here. And thank you, everybody. Oh, wait, I got to tell you about our coaches for tomorrow. So we have the beautiful Violet Dietrich, I think. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. And she is a Christian life coach. And so she has a beautiful message. And then we have Evelyn Tejada. And so she is actually a financial planner. She can help you with anything from your IRAs, mutual funds, to retirement, to insurance, any of that kind of stuff. So those are the two that are coming up tomorrow. So I hope you tune in because they both have great messages. And thank you again, Sherese, for being here. You're beautiful, and I can't wait to get your book. So when are you thinking you're going to have it ready?
My goal is the end of this year, and then have it like out and ready for production like first quarter, because that's when I also have my Jack Canfield interview.
Oh, yay!
I got some deadlines to meet.
So how did you land a Jack Canfield interview?
They usually like send out, a questionnaire. Like if you're interested, they do an interview to make sure you're a good fit. They ask you about your book, and the details behind it. And then I guess it goes through some sort of approval process. And then they decide whether or not they want to, bring you in for an interview. So I made it past. I made it through the cut.
Yay! How exciting. That's going to be super fun. So that's next year. That's the beginning of next year.
Yes, I pushed it. At first it was like November, December. And I was like, I don't know about that. Let's just push it back a little bit. Because in the meantime, I was actually trying to do another summit. But I realized like I just really need to get focused and just stay consistent with getting the book done. Like this is my baby, and that's all I'm working on right now.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, one thing at a time. It works better than 15 things at a time.
Exactly.
Yes. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight PDT, whatever that means. I know. I was putting Pacific Standard Time, and two people, it's like, it's Pacific Daylight Time or something like that. It's like, I didn't know that you actually switched the initials, but two people told me, so you do. So that's, yeah. So 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow for 2 more amazing interviews. And thank you very much, Sherese. And you'll find her in the group. Check out the giveaways in the group, and we will talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.